From the earliest days of mobile radios being used in public safety, keeping the reference oscillator, or VCO, aligned to the correct frequency has been an issue. In the 1950s, the FCC required that the frequency and modulation of each radio be checked by an FCC-licensed radio operator every 6 months. An early manufacturer of radio test equipment, Lamkin Labs, described the need for radio maintenance in the 1950s. "We strongly feel that no mobile radio system can be better than its maintenance. The original installation can be of the best, but unless it is properly maintained, the operating costs, the technical performance, and the conformance with FCC regulations all will degrade as time goes on." As the technology continued to be refined in the 60s and 70s, these requirements changed somewhat. Each radio had to come in once a year, and the technician had to place a sticker on the radio with the date, the serial number of the service monitor used, and his signature. This was an expensive and time-consuming process, but it was accepted as necessary to ensure the proper operation of the system. Deregulation began in the 70s and 80s as an attempt to cut back regulatory clutter and increase competition in the telecommunications industries. One consequence of the drive to remove regulations was the elimination of the FCC mandate to do an annual preventive maintenance check on all radios. It was said at the time that radios were synthesized and stable, and that they no longer required maintenance, which was definitely not the case. Performing an annual maintenance while no longer required by law came to be considered best practice. Though often skipped, it continues today to be recommended by the radio manufacturers themselves. All during this time, manual tuning remained the only way to calibrate radios. Meanwhile, since the radios are still built around a VCO, the reality is that they continue to drift out of alignment and require service. Countering this need is the use of automatic frequency control, or AFC. The development of AFC began at least as far back as the 1930s for television and radio broadcasting equipment. Radio manufacturers began to research refinements to AFC for mobile radios as well. Motorola, for example, has multiple AFC-related patents from the 1970s through the 1990s. Many technicians are not familiar with this built-in adjustment. The radio maintenance challenge system managers face is straightforward. How do you identify the particular radios most at risk of failure and service them when you do not have the time or money to PM every radio? We propose that the answer lies with new technology. To learn more, see our other videos or visit www.LocusUSA.com.